To be fair, "You ready to party" is absolutely something that Diddler would say. I'm sorry, bro, but the Diddler is like the best nickname anybody has ever came up with. Like,
racist against rappers, they all look the same to him. They used to beg him not to egg him on Halloween. He told him holler back with the suede Pumas, dollar green. Nah, I mean, heat it up till the temperature tarball. Y'all just gawk like gargoyle.
all right. So, I know I made a video talking about Jay-Z's allegations, and to be fair, in that video, I made it clear, okay, I was 50-50 on it, all right? I was like, this could be either way. I can believe, I think I was leaning more towards like the girl was kind of capping, but I still said anything was possible, especially considering that Jay-Z was Diddy's boy. I know that Jay-Z's lawyer recently came out and said that they were not friends. Yeah, that boy was capping. Come on, bro. That's like the first thing everybody said when this came out. So we got Jamari. He's finna tell us how in the world did this get debunked. I just know that they said that she was cap.
So earlier this week, I told you guys about some very serious allegations being levied against rapper.
Oh my God, bro. If I was Jay-Z, I would beat the shit out of everybody who took pictures of me. This is crazy.
Jay-Z, with these claims revolving around the ongoing situation with his longtime friend P. Diddy. The claim was that back in the year 2000, Jay-Z and Diddy took turns violating a 13-year-old girl at a VMA's after party.
Which is outrageous.
The girl claimed she was dropped off at Radio City Music Hall by a friend.
See, this is where I was getting shakies. They were talking about the driver specifically came back to pick her up. Like, the driver picked up a 13-year-old. Like, you're crazy, bro.
She says,
and what were her parents?
That she tried to get into the VMAs but ultimately failed, and that she then approached Diddy's limo driver who would take her to an after party thrown by Diddy himself.
How did she get to the limo driver too?
Where she claims that she was given a mixed drink that would make her lose control of her body, and this is when she was allegedly taken advantage of.
That nigga Diddy just looks freaky in every photo, bro. I don't care.
And even when I read the initial court filing, I did have some questions about how valid it really was. Like, I get that it was a different time, but to me, no one in their right mind would leave a kid in New York City unsupervised for hours on end. I also found it curious that she claims that she was under the influence of a substance that made her lose control of her body, but she somehow still had the wherewithal to get a grown man off of her by punching him in the face, and that she was able to run out of the room, out of the mansion, and retrace her way on foot back to a gas station.
I didn't even think about that, yeah. The thing that got me was the driver. Like, you're telling me the driver dropped off Diddy and Jay-Z and then spun the block looking for a 13-year-old girl?
While presumably still under the influence and in the middle of the night. Also, the whole part where Diddy comes in and allegedly says, "You're ready to party," sounded like something out of a fan fiction more than anything else. And now this woman has actually come forward with an anonymous interview via NBC, and there is a serious lack of consistency with her story, to say the least. And before I roll the clip, I do want to try and remain as sensitive as I can be, because NBC does start this by saying this woman does actually have a mental disorder, as I believe they have vetted her background, and this woman has been diagnosed with autism.
You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did run your life.
A 38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of raping her when she was 13 years old is speaking out to NBC News for the first time.
So yes, 25 years later, this mother from Alabama is coming forward to speak her alleged piece.
She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet. But it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
And like I've told you guys in previous videos, ever since Diddy's house was raided and he was actually detained by the authorities, you've had all these different people coming forward making allegations of criminal activity against him. I believe the total was somewhere around 120 at this point. And while I do believe a lot of those claims will be valid and they will see their day in court, I do think what will also come with that is some bad actors acting in bad faith, really just kind of looking for a payday or a settlement.
How long was my mic muted for? Oh my gosh.
And I do
Basically, I was agreeing with him. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Weinstein probably had a couple people who came out just straight capping.
think that as her story kind of falls apart here in this news segment, you guys will see too that that's most likely what this was.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball.
That's crazy. I ain't know she was autistic, bro. Like, that's even crazier. Somebody dropped off their 13-year-old autistic daughter by herself in New York.
The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
And listen, y'all, I know she's probably trying to say something really deep there about, her experience with having autism. But to me, just off the bat, my initial impression of her is that this lady doesn't really speak like she's exactly within her right mind.
The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive.
She got drove for 5 hours?
I mean, come on, guys. This 5-hour drive, and then you're gonna leave a 13-year-old kid in New York.
You left yeah, what? A 13-year-old kid by themselves 5 hours away from their house?
City all by themselves. Like, they take the...
And 13-year-old autistic kid 5 hours from their crib, all by themselves in New York.
Dad 5 hours to come drive and pick her up?
Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she's...
What?
Spoke to Combs's limo driver, who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver, who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
Got inspired.
I'm so tired of the ugly ass.
I admit that I was just pretty.
And here's where her story really starts to fall apart, as several of the alleged witnesses in this situation all have alibis for that night, and many of them were not even in the same state.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji...
Wait, he said they were what?
Even in the same state in this situation, all have alibis fall apart, as several of the alleged witnesses in this situation all have alibis for that night, and many of them were not even in the same state.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper because I have a religious background.
So, a 13-year-old kid who got dropped off by herself at a music award or a music festival somehow was able to talk to all these different celebrities and their drivers and stuff.
So it was just something to talk about.
And so those guys are actually both members of the band Good Charlotte, and they did actually release a statement saying that they were nowhere near New York on the night of September 7, 2000.
That's crazy.
And as you can see here by an archive of their tour, they were at the Vic Theater that night in Chicago, Illinois.
Wow. That's insane, bro.
As you guys can see, this website also confirms that information and notes that they were touring with Eve 6 and OPM. And listen, I'm not the best at geography, guys, but Illinois, it's a pretty far away from New York just to go to a Diddy party.
Yeah.
At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns raping her while a female celebrity watched.
JC
Wow.
comes in and rapes me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him, and he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the
After the alleged, she
That's crazy work.
says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
The father drove 5 hours. Oh my God, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did this guy have to come from 5 hours away? And don't worry, guys, we won't have to wonder because they do actually get a statement from the dad here in a little bit.
We rode home in silence.
What?
He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC
What?
News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind.
And
What? That's crazy. Your dad is not even on your side?
to me, at
Wow.
that point, it's like, okay, the case is closed. Her own father is saying he has no recollection of this event at all.
I wouldn't either, bro. Because if he did, that would make him like one of the worst fathers I've ever heard of. You let your 13-year-old autistic daughter, drive 5 hours down the road with some friend to a music festival, and you didn't even ask her if she was okay when she asked you to come pick her up at some random payphone. On some, oh my god, bro, at some random gas station. Okay.
So the people at the party she allegedly talked to, it's already been debunked. They weren't even in the same state. And now even her own father is saying, yeah, I don't remember that ever happening. That's like 2 out of the 3 key witnesses. I mean, the only other person would be like a gas station clerk. Oh, and I forgot the friend that dropped her off that
It's died.
conveniently already passed away. I mean, what 13-year-old has some sort of friend that's willing to drive them 5 hours away and drop them off somewhere?
Yeah, for real, bro.
Especially one who has a mental condition. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. And then your parents are okay with it? Like, that's outrageous.
When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. I have made some mistakes, she said. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me. The inconsistencies in her account of an incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago does not necessarily mean the allegations are false. The accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, said, because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph.
But polygraph don't mean nothing, bro. Polygraphs are notoriously unreliable. That's why you can't even use them in court. If we really had a machine that could truly tell you if somebody was lying or not, there would be no need for a court. Like, come on now.
This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress.
Oh, man. And I know
Jesus.
Tony Busby has been a really successful lawyer working some of the biggest cases, especially out of Houston, over the last couple of decades.
Niggas were waiting for Busby to flop like this.
With that being said, the guy is obviously an opportunist, and he loves jumping on these high-profile cases, and I think, in this instance, it seems like he just flew a little bit too close to the sun. Like,
For real, bro. I know all the celebrities that that be doing some weird shit behind the scenes are probably jumping for joy that Busby is taking an L on this.
to me, even just reading the initial court document without these other witnesses coming out and saying that the story is bullshit, I already felt like her claims were really questionable, to say the least. And it was definitely not something that I felt could be, like, substantiated in court.
Is any
That's exactly what I said in my last video. I said, I don't know how you gonna prove it.
part of you scared coming out against such powerful people?
I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out than I am of being chastised by their fans.
And Jay-Z and Rock Nation, as well as his attorney, would actually put out a statement after this news piece was
They low-key kind of cooked her with the statement, I'm not gonna lie.
released, where he says today's investigative report proves this attorney
Attorney.
Busby filed a false complaint against me in pursuit of money and fame. This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet.
I'm telling you, they cooked him. They cooked him crispy with this. They cooked him with that.
But soon. And that's apparently a statement directly from Jay-Z himself. And in a statement from his lawyer, they say, it is stunning that a lawyer would not only file such a serious complaint without properly vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling this false story in the press. We're asking the court to dismiss this frivolous case today, and will take up the matter of additional discipline for Mr. Busby and all the lawyers that filed the complaint.
Word.
And listen, guys, Jay-Z has money, Jay-Z has power. And that's not just in the entertainment industry. Jay-Z actually holds a lot of political power. He's been in bed with the NFL, I believe, for close to a decade. And so now I truly do believe that we're going to see a bit of a war between him and this guy, Tony Busby.
He's sweating bullets, bro. look, I'm not gonna act like Jay-Z don't got no skeletons in his closet whatsoever, bro. You know, like my whole thing is he's still really close to Diddy. He probably got some skeletons in his closet, but this doesn't seem like it was one of them. Yo ass might be cooked. I'm just being honest, Busby.
Like I told you guys before, Tony was the one who represented all those women against Deshaun Watson a couple years ago. So you know the NFL wants to fuck with him too. I mean, Deshaun Watson, he's a disgusting person, and business-wise, that was a horrendous look for the NFL. And so you know if they have the chance to like help Jay-Z stick it to Tony in this situation, they definitely will. So yeah, guys, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens in this situation, but to me, this story does seem quite frivolous at this point. Like, I don't think this accuser has a whole lot of ground to stand on. And
no, because unless you come out with somehow, like, with geographic DNA, like, I don't even think DNA evidence would be enough to convince people at this point. If I'm being honest, I just don't know. I don't know.
I know that there's the saying that the truth does not matter when the lie is more entertaining than the truth itself, but it is shocking to me the stark contrast between when Jay-Z was initially accused and people saw the headlines that he had violated this 13-year-old girl and how quickly that all spread and how much like hate he was
yeah, got 100 problems now.
Receiving from all these massive
Diddy seeing Jay-Z
pages, getting millions of impressions. I mean,
is actually the predator and deadbeat that you used. Okay, this is crazy. See, this is the one thing I don't like. I don't like people who just run with any type of accusation and stuff. Because like I said in my last video, I was suspicious of Jay-Z, but it wasn't no type of evidence to make me be able to say something like this. Something like this. Jay-Z is actually the predator and deadbeat that you accuse Drake of. LOL. That's insane. Like, that's insane.
Millions of likes, millions of retweets.
Attorney Tony Busby is not backing down from Jay-Z blatant lies, mainstream media manipulation, propaganda. Attorney Busby says we will not be bullied or intimidated by these shenanigans, and our clients will not be silenced.
But now that this news piece has come out and it doesn't fit that whole
everybody who made those tweets probably gotta delete them hoes, or they're probably gonna be like, y'all just believe anything.
Narrative, very few people are talking about it. This is being spread on a very small scale. And I'm not trying to say that Jay-Z is some saint or that he's never been involved in criminal activity or that his relationship to Diddy all these years isn't questionable, to say the least.
Look at Jay-Z's face. This is something about Jay-Z's face always makes me laugh. Who is this nigga?
But at least in this specific instance, this does seem like a whole bunch of BS to me. But either way, I do want to know what you guys think about it down below. Obviously, we will continue to follow the Diddy timeline, so y'all make sure you subscribe.
Yep, like I said, he got all the points that I was trying to say. He said it more articulate than me. Jay-Z got some skeletons in his closet, but I don't think this was one of them. You know, I'ma still make fun of Diddy though. To be fair, you ready to party is absolutely something that Diddler would say. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro, but the Diddler is like the best nickname anybody has ever came up with. Like, yeah, Diddy did it to himself, bro. The Diddler. You've been diddled.